damage for them.
Harless hits the ball and hits it well. Back into the end zone goes Pruitt. He'll bring it out. 15 and the 20, and a penalty marker goes down again, which has been a continuing problem for the Raiders today. Penalty markers have been thrown in predominantly against the Los Angeles team. As the Raiders go on offense, trailing 10-6. They were down 10-0 in the first quarter of this game.
It was Rick Dennison, the linebacker, 55, who was applauding down there. I think perhaps he was the man that was blocked illegally, and they're going to mark it way back inside the 10-yard line.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 56 of the receivers during a run back. It's first down at 10.
Linebacker Jeff Barnes blocking on the kick return team for the Raiders called for illegal use of hands. And so the ball is set back inside the 10-yard line of the Raiders. There they'll go on offense from their 8, first and 10. Raiders annually, Merlin, the most penalized team or close to it in the NFL because they're a very aggressive team.
They certainly are that.
Also, it's a matter of record winning team. Always. Now the run by Kenny King, and there's not much there as the Denver Broncos pursue laterally. Steve Foley's having a good game for the Denver Broncos from free safety, coming up to play the run well also.
His 8th tackle of the day. Foley, one of those quiet assassins. He's such a gentle looking guy, quiet family man. I came from a large family, one of 9, and you mentioned Phil's here today. He's one of 11 children. Now that's a real family.
That's a full family, and Steve Foley has been a full player for the Denver Broncos now for 7 seasons. Coming out of Tulane, as you mentioned, Merlin, as a quarterback, moving into one of the better free safeties in the analysis every year in the NFL. Here's a home run ball as Plunkett goes long, and a man is there, but it's off his fingertips. Cliff Branch running his 3rd full fly of the game. This time they tried Mike Hardin, the other cornerback.
A lot of offensive coordinators have looked at this secondary for the Broncos and figured they would go after Mike Hardin, number 31. Hardin does a good job of covering. Now he's covering one of the most dangerous receivers in all of football, Cliff Branch. And Branch not able to get any yardage on him. A well-thrown ball by Plunkett. Again, a chance for a completion there.
Inches away, a long ball. Plunkett coming off of the inactivity of sitting on the bench while Mark Wilson was in. His arm strong, and physically he's as sound as he can be now in his 13th season. You see the 3rd down conversion ratio. It's 3rd and 9 coming up for the Raiders. Plunkett gets time, swings it out to Frank Hawkins. Good play by the Denver defense. Jackson, who's been making them all afternoon, Tom Jackson comes up and stops it. And the Raiders will have to punt, and the Broncos will open with their first possession of the second half with good field position.
You get a feeling why Tom Jackson has been voted Denver's most inspirational player in the last 2 seasons. He'll inspire you with plays like that. You saw him sack the quarterback earlier, force the touchdown. He's been out there making the big plays all day.
Denver defense has given up some yardage, but they've mounted the challenge and answered it when the Raiders have been down close, allowing Los Angeles only 2 first-half field goals. 10-6 Denver.
Not a good punt.
No, not from Ray Guy. It hits at the midfield line, goes right up in the air. Now takes a Raider roll inside the 40-yard line of the Broncos. Denver starts out with its first possession of the 3rd quarter, 1st and 10 from the Denver 38-yard line. The count holds 10-6. Broncos in the lead. We'll be back right after this. John Elway and the Bronco offense comes out. Merlin, John's about due for a completion.
Well, it's a sputtering offense right now. I'm sure Reeves wants Elway to get it on track. He's got to have some help to do it. Oh, no.
At a different snap count, his center, Bill Bryan, was waiting for
I think that's Elway. I think that's Elway. When you don't see any of the other offensive people move, you know that the quarterback, and I'm sure what's happened here, he's got a lot of things on his mind. He's trying to do everything down there right now, maybe trying to do too much. I think that's one of the problems he had earlier in the year. Well,
Going out without the ball, number 7 of the offense. It's still first down.
That's an embarrassing moment for a quarterback. He said, hey, guys, I'll tell you one thing. No matter what kind of season he's had, this young man's going to be a great quarterback. And it's just a matter of letting him fight through all these problems to get there.
You could still get just about a full team if they wanted to put him up for trade. Elway gets time. There's the long ball. Going for it is Upchurch, but it's going to be intercepted at the 20-yard line by Van McElroy, the free safety.
That's McElroy's 5th interception on the season. And that was kind of a gimme. The ball underthrown. Elway trying to get the ball deep. Had the receiver down there, although he was well covered. Forced the pass. And, of course, the reception is by one of the men in black. McElroy, who had to wait a long time for that pass to come, almost had to fair catch that one.
Alert play by Lester Hayes, was ready to tip it away, then saw McElroy ready in position to intercept and let it go. So the Raiders get it back for their second possession of the third quarter with 13:01 to play in the third period. The Raiders with the ball at their 20-yard line. Cliff Branch comes out wide to the left. Malcolm Barnwell's on the right flank. Kenny King and Marcus Allen the setbacks behind Jim Plunkett. This is Marcus Allen running. And Allen with good moves weaves his way ahead for a gain of 8 yards to the 28-yard line.
What could have been and probably would have been with a lesser back, a 3-yard loss turns into a big gain. Number 50, Jim Ryan, had shot into the backfield, had Allen dead to rights. Allen just scooted inside and got upfield for a nice gain. 11 times he's run the ball now, 48 yards. He's close to a 100-yard clip for the day. As I said, I'm beginning to feel the dominance of that big Raider offensive line.
In the second quarter, it was evident, and is again now, as the Raiders run again, and they go ahead for a first down. Kenny King carries this time. Marcus Allen with 11 carries today. He's averaging about 16 carries a game. Randy Gradishar probably playing for the last time in the Los Angeles Coliseum for 10 years. One of the very best in pro football.
I don't think any linebacker that I've ever seen play the game has a better nose for the football than Randy Gradishar. Came into this game with 136 tackles on the season and over the last 10 years of his career, and that's an impressive period of time. No one has made more tackles in football than Randy Gradishar.
Most in the NFL over the last decade, closing in on 2,000 tackles is Gradishar. Plunkett looks to throw and does, and completes the ball to the 35-yard line. DeMarcus Allen, and Gradishar's quickly on him.
Look who's there. And Gradishar, who's announced his retirement at the end of this season, will be going out while he's still very physical and very healthy. At the same time, he said, look, I've got a lot of things I want to do with my life, and if I'm not healthy, I won't be able to do them. And on top of that, one thing that he's very proud of is the quality and the character of his play. The fact that he has had such high standards as an athlete. He said, I don't want to play in a couple of years where I would be embarrassed about what I'm doing on the field.
He might hang around till he's 40 and not be embarrassed. He's still as good as there is. But as you mentioned, this will be his last season. Gradishar in his 10th year. Now Plunkett on 2nd and 6. The rush is on. He gets it away, and good coverage by Louis Wright on the tight end Christensen. Incomplete pass.
The Denver defense taking additional pressure because of the sputtering offense, and that's something that they have been responding to all this season. But certainly at this moment, putting a lot of pressure on Plunkett and doing a good job. And look at that score, 17-6, as San Diego continues to lead Dallas into the third quarter. What a good job that San Diego offense is doing.
Really
defense.
Yeah, holding the winning Cowboys, a 9-1 team, and now we see the San Francisco 49ers doing well. So are the Washington Redskins, looking for their 9th win of the season against a team that's all but run up the white flag, the New York Giants. 3rd down and 5. Plunkett with a problem, gets it away, and almost a completion.
Wow.
Dennis Smith, the old teammate of Marcus Allen, they exchange shoves and then help each other up.
Marcus angry again on that play. Has lost his cool a couple of times today. Plunkett getting tremendous heat as the blitz was all over him on that play. Still able to deliver the ball. Randy Gradishar, we've shown him earlier. You see the intensity of the man. He's right there trying to get in there and jump the count. Missed it on that particular play. Still fighting to the inside. That's Mickey Marvin, 65. Now that's the kind of play that is spectacular. Going from one piece of action to another, finding that football.
Here's the punt again by Ray Guy. Hits it well and very high. Thomas takes it and takes 3 consecutive hits in the Raiders, but holds out of the ball. Denver gets it back at the 24-yard line. A 41-yard punt by Ray Guy, but it was very high and it was not returned for any yardage. So Elway and the Bronco offense still leading 10-6. We'll try again when we come back. One of the most famous stadiums in America, and of course will be the site of the opening ceremonies next July when the '84 Summer Olympic Games begin in Los Angeles. Right now, the home field and the Raiders are down to the Denver Broncos 10-6, third quarter. Elway pitched back. Nathan Poole runs and gets some yards. The Broncos have gotten very few running the ball today.
Well, they've also had very few first downs. In fact, they've only managed 3 first downs on the day. You just can't control a football game when you can't control the football. So far today, the Broncos have been operating, of course, as we said, with some real disadvantages, mainly in the injuries to their running backs. They've had to change their strategy and go with 2 tight ends, 4 wide receivers, 1 running back, and they have just not been able to be effective against one of the strongest defenses in the NFL.
You see his numbers, 4 for 13, leading 413 for the 64 first half yards. Standing in, taking a look. Boy, he's got the gun, lets it go, and Upchurch is out there, but again, this time lost. Otis McKinney had the ball and lost it. Elway's arm is so strong, he threw that almost falling back.
One of the ways to tell about a quarterback's relaxation and how comfortable he is to watch his feet. Let's watch Elway. Look how fast he is to set up. But I'll tell you, they're back on him already. Look at those nervous feet. He could feel the pressure, and now you see those feet come right off the ground as he is just knocked on his backside. That ball, luckily, was knocked away by Upchurch, who's playing defensive back on Otis McKinney and stripping the ball away from him.
Elway, as you know, Merlin, knows this field well. Played in the City High School Championship game in Los Angeles. Came here regularly with Stanford to play against Southern California, UCLA. 3rd down and 8 for Elway. Stands in, he throws, and it's caught. What a catch at the 41-yard line. It's good. They're ruling it a good reception. Upchurch going to the moon to come down with the ball.
Some kind of a mistake on that play, too. You don't want 2 of your receivers right on top of each other. 2 of the Denver receivers were right in the same area, a collection of defensive backs. Upchurch still comes up with the football out of the shotgun. Elway doing a good job of getting back and gets this pass on target. This is not an easy target. Well, one of the knocks on Elway early was that he locked on a single receiver. You saw him there. Eyes only on 1 receiver. Again, you see 2 Denver receivers right on top of each other. They're lucky to come down with that ball.
Great second look. Our producer, Kenneth Edmondson, and our director, John Gonzalez, says the Raiders stuffed the run. Ted Hendricks was the first man through to get Nathan Poole on a 1st and 10 play.
Ted, they took him in at halftime, had a bruised thigh, looked him over, but he's so tough. I think his pain threshold, you probably hit him on the head with a hammer. He'd still come back in there and play.
They got him. They got the cornerstone of a defensive franchise.
He and Mellon, of course, coming out on a long yardage situation, passing situation. They'll put extra defensive backs, a little more speed in the ball game. Only 3 defensive linemen. Let's see if they get a blitz on it.
2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz. They go to the run. Free ball, and the Raiders are going to get it. And McElroy, the free safety, got the free ball, and now the Raiders have it inside the 40-yard line of Denver.
Number 36, Mike Davis, is still on the ground out there. He was the man that blitzed. He dove right at the last minute at the ball carrier. Looked like he may have hit on the heels of the ball carrier. He's still on the ground, and that would be a costly loss to these Raiders. You see the play after as it develops. Ball knocks away right there. 51, Bob Nelson, the man who knocked it away. Raiders able to get their hands on it. Let's see Davis coming from the backside. You see him right there diving. Maybe a heel to the face, perhaps. Hard to tell.
The Raiders force a big one. Sammy Winder having a problem holding onto the ball. In fairness to Sammy, you see that right hand heavily taped. He's got a bad thumb, and he couldn't hold it. He was holding with the right hand when it was knocked away.
It looks like they're looking at the leg of Mike Davis there. You see him diving right at the back there, and then you see the ball knocked away. Nelson reached in from behind, swatted that ball away. McElroy, the man who got over and got on top of it, he's finally knocked down before he can get too far. But the Raiders have the football. That's the 2nd turnover of the 2nd half, and they have excellent field position.
No turnovers for the Broncos in the first half. The Raiders had one that led directly to a touchdown. Here's a throw downfield. Kenny King caught the ball out of bounds. Good looking play, but he was 2 feet the wrong way.
Yeah, I think he was more than 2 feet out of bounds. Maybe he was looking at that white line on the outside of the first white line, but he was way out of bounds for that one. And of course, that's a quarterback's responsibility too. Look how far he is out. I don't even think he would have been in bounds on the second white line. Plunkett right now 16 for 27 on the day, 138 yards, but still will go deep. And again, the reason for that, he wants to stretch this defense. The Broncos, again, willing to give a few yards, but they've been toughest when they've had their back against the wall.
They've demonstrated that all game long. The Raiders have challenged continually, but have only come away with 2 field goals so far. Denver still leads 10-6. Now the Raiders go to the run, and Frank Hawkins, a hard running back from Nevada, Reno. Although you didn't hear much about him coming out of college, he was third all-time in NCAA rushing, over 5,000 yards. Frank Hawkins, who rushed for 122 against the Cowboys in the upset win.
Now, before this game started, Dan Reeves said that he felt this game would be a game that was lost and not won, and his reasoning was that someone was going to make costly turnovers. Well, you saw the first turnover and the result in 7 points by the Raiders, and now here in the early going of the second half, 2 very costly turnovers by the Broncos.
8.5 to go in the third quarter. We haven't seen the last of the turnovers in all probability. Here's a throw to an open man. Cliff Branch took the corner deep. Harden and then turned out on him. And the Raiders have a first down inside the Denver 15-yard line. Staying away from Mr. Wright, going at Harden.
And this is the area of the field that the Bronco defense has been toughest today. Plunkett getting a good shot here. Good play. You see him looking right, setting the play up. And again, they respect this man so much, Cliff Branch, that they just have to give him room. The end result, he takes advantage of it. And a nice completion for a first down. Let's see if they can get inside and get tight.
Cliff Branch, 12th year in the league, hasn't lost a step. Marcus Allen rockets up free football. And the Broncos think they have it, and the official's going to signal the same. First official stepped in and waved that way, and now they make it official. And so the turnovers start to pile up. A second for the Raiders stops another Los Angeles drive.
With most teams going to zone defenses down inside the 20-yard line, teams have gone more and more to running plays. But you've got to hang on to the pumpkin. Marcus Allen inside, and the ball stripped away. The man who comes up with it, number 53, Randy Gradishar.
Station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KSEE TV 24 Fresno.
Gradishar and the Denver defense just came up with another big play, stopping the Raider drive. Merlin, maybe he'll think about not retiring.
He may indeed. I know that Dan Reeves will be talking to him about that.
The handoff on the run goes up the middle. There's some pushing and shoving and a penalty marker in addition, and Denver Bronco is down. Jack Egloff shaken up.
Ron Egloff. And
Ron Egloff.
Yeah, no question that they don't want him on the ground. We mentioned earlier that they've gone through 7 tight ends during this season, and that's one of the few that stayed healthy. He was knocking on wood in the dressing room earlier. I said, how have you been so lucky? He said, I don't know. So I just dodged the bullets, I guess. But I talked to some of the coaches and players for the Broncos. They don't want to see Randy Gradishar go. It's his decision. And Reeves, I think, will do everything he can to try and talk Randy into coming back for another year. But he does have a lot of options. He knows that he has other things he'd like to do with his life. And, well, there the yardage on the day. And you understand how important this Bronco defense is when you look at what the Raiders have been able to do and then look at the scoreboard and realize that they're still behind on the scoreboard.
Offensive numbers certainly don't reflect the scoreboard. Denver continues to lead 10-6. They scored their points early in the game. They led 10-0 in the first quarter.
Scoring during the run, number 64 of the offense, half the distance to the goal, still first down.
That's Billy Bryant, the center, most dependable of those Bronco offensive linemen, and he's the glue that holds that offense together as far as the line goes.
Excellent center. He was the offensive MVP for the Broncos last season, was Billy Bryant. Now a 1st and 15 play. Winder puts his head down, but all he finds is a silver and black helmet to run into. As the Raiders continue to stop the Denver running game cold. And right now, Denver needs room to operate, because if they have to punt it away from their own end zone, the Raiders will be back knocking again.
And you find it hard to criticize a man who's pressed into service with a dislocated thumb and doing his best out there, but Winder has not run aggressively today, has been tentative in the way he's come into the line, and that has been a real deficit. He's run the ball now 10 times and has gained only 6 yards for the Bronco offense.
And the carry previous to that, of course, was the fumble. And the Broncos took it right back from the Los Angeles Raiders. And now with Elway throwing a sharp ball into the middle, Upchurch makes a dive, but it's incomplete. And third down, and 13 comes up for the Broncos inside their 6-yard line.
Well, you're not going to fool anybody with a play-action pass on that play. When your running game is not going, there's no sense in trying to fool people with play-action. Working one-on-one on Lester Hayes, and he does it as well as anyone around. Reads the play inside, and that ball is catchable, but it's thrown so hard. Elway has such a powerful arm, and he is really shooting that ball. I don't think he wants the interception here, but he's making it awful hard on his receivers to catch those footballs.
Now the new wide receiver in the game, a rookie from San Diego State, Clint Sampson, and
4 wide receivers.
4 deployed.
Zach Thomas, a little draw play.
Nothing. Broncos try to catch the Raiders in the full pass rush, but it doesn't work. Bill Pickell, a rookie from Rutgers.
Oh boy, Nathan Poole, who's the only virtually healthy back that the Broncos have, is still on the ground. Boy, they're going to have to hire an extra trainer. Poole has carried 5 times for 7 yards on the day, but let's give some credit to this Raider defense.
Tremendous.
They have made it very, very difficult for the Broncos to operate today. And mentioned earlier that statistically they rank very high, number 4 in the NFL total defense, 6th against the rush, 6th against the pass, and they proved themselves very well today. On the whole afternoon, first half and second half, 13 yards rushing by the Denver offense, and woof. Boy, you got to do better than that.
Well, the Denver offense came in as the least productive in the league, as you know, Merlin, in total yards per game. They were right down near the bottom in virtually every offensive category, but with a right arm like John Elway, that can change quickly.
Well, it certainly can. And, you know, it's interesting. We can look at the negative side of that, but there's another side of it, too. When you look at a team that's had that much trouble offensively, the fact that they're still winning, the fact that they're still challenging. They're winning this game.
Right.
And they're challenging the Raiders. They're going to they'll step into a tie for first place if they finish this game ahead.
Seattle was upset today, losing at St. Louis, so if the Broncos win this, there'd be a 2-way tie for first. If the Raiders win, they'd have a 2-game lead over Denver with just 5 to play. Prestridge hits a punt downfield, and Pruitt's going to return it from the Denver side of the 50. He's to the 45, end of the 40. Picket line is set. Look at this return by the Raiders, and Pruitt's all the way down to the 10-yard line. A tremendous special teams play by the Los Angeles Raiders. 38-yard punt, and Pruitt runs it back 35 yards.
Some very costly breakdowns on special teams last week against Seattle, and so far in this game, they didn't have the problem. Suddenly, Pruitt able to get some good blocks. Ted Watts out in front of him, Derek Nelson out in front of him. Luke Prestridge, the punter, finally makes the tackle.
Well, you were talking, Merlin, earlier about Luke Prestridge and all that size. He put it to good use there because Pruitt was heading for the end zone.
But you sure put your defense under the gun when you hand the ball away on the 12-yard line and give it to the Raider offense. Give them another chance to punch it in.
38-yard punt and a 35-yard return. Now it's the Raiders with the ball at the 12-yard line of Denver. Duncan looks, throws, and it's caught. Cliff Branch again. Down to the 7-yard line. Raiders can still get a first down.
Mickey Marvin came all the way down from his guard position and just dusted Mike Harden down there. Knocked him all the way almost into the end zone. Little play action fake using Branch's speed across. Dennis Smith, number 49, doing a good job one-on-one. You saw the feet flying by there. That was Mickey Marvin.
Not a memorable season for the Chargers, Merlin, but certainly a memorable day today as they're leading Dallas now 24-6 in the third quarter.
San Diego defense doing a great job.
Marcus Allen heads in and takes it in for the go-ahead touchdown. So the Raiders finally get in the end zone. Great defensive blocking by the Raider front, and Marcus Allen knows what to do with it as well as anybody in the league.
Well, you can't dodge that many bullets if they're well aimed, and certainly the Raiders aiming well in this ball game have been denied a number of times. Not so on this drive. Tremendous blocking by Marvin inside. Dalby, good job by the Davis on the other side.
Other player is down.
Charlie Hanna, that whole offensive line.
Dennis Smith, the strong safety, down, shaken up trying to make the play. He's coming off it all right. But with 5:52 left to play in the third quarter, the Raiders finally score their first touchdown of the game, and it gives them a 12-10 lead.
Good job inside by Henry Lawrence, too, on that right tackle position. In fact, it was Lawrence driving hard on Chavis, making room over there for that play. You see Mickey Marvin, 65, jumping in the air. These teams really don't like each other. There's some emotion pumping out there.
And has been for a long time. The Raiders have dominated the series. This is the 47th meeting over the years. The Raiders have won 33. The Broncos only 11. There have been 2 ties. Some of the Bronco wins have been very important games, though, like the AFC Championship game when the Broncos went to the Super Bowl in '77 when they beat the then Oakland Raiders 20-17. Right now, looking to extend the lead to 3 is Chris Barr, and he does. So a field goal separates the 2 teams with 5:52 to play in the third quarter. The Raiders scoring their first touchdown, and it's 13-10 Los Angeles. Marcus Allen on the payoff run, end of a touchdown run, the first of the day for the Los Angeles Raiders, and they now take the lead after the extra point by Barr, 13-10. You have to think, Merlin, that Elway's got to hit the big play because the Broncos aren't going to get in position to score running, at least the way this game has gone.
No, I'm sure the Raider defense thinking exactly with you, Don.
Barr kicks it off. Zach Thomas does a full gainer out to the 23-yard line. Broncos going offense there, 1st and 10. 21-yard return.
Otis McKinney, the man down to seal off that play. Zach Thomas trying to find a little room, would like to have brought that one out. I'd say they're in a tough position down there, though. Broncos have not been able to run the ball effectively, have not been able to get enough time for Elway to really be comfortable back there. The Raiders will continue to pressure him and harass him and hope he makes another mistake.
Elway takes a look, loops it out. Wilhite is in the game, and he catches the ball for a first down for the Broncos all the way out to the 44-yard line. A 20-yard gain. Gerald Wilhite is finally heard from.
And Wilhite limping as he finished that run. As we mentioned, he had been held out of the lineup because of injuries. They put Egloff back in there in a kind of a shotgun, a wishbone position to do some blocking. Howie Long putting the pressure on. This is a fine throw by Elway. Now watch Wilhite as he pulls up on that sore hamstring, pulling back on it. But you see why they're so sorry to have him out of the lineup. He is a real threat.
In for one play, resulting in a 20-yard gain. So the Broncos have it now 1st and 10. Pitch back to Poole, who's back in. And again, the silver and black stuffs the Denver run. Nothing at all with 5:25 to play in the third quarter, and the Raiders now in the lead 13-10 after trailing 10-0 in the first quarter and trailing the Broncos 10-6 at halftime.
The Denver defense had kept the pressure off the offense as long as they could, but now with the lead transferred into Raider hands, the pressure is squarely on the Denver offense. They've got to get more points. A matter of getting the ball down the field. 2nd and 10. Raiders looking pass all the way. They'll have the defensive linemen coming all out. Let's see if they can handle them on the line of scrimmage.
Single-digit numbers for the Broncos running the ball. Strike, but the man could not hold on. Ron Egloff coming across the middle is losing the ball at the 40-yard line. The throw was there, but a little bit low for Egloff.
So was Mike Davis there, right on top of Egloff, making it difficult for him to handle that football. And boy, those are hard passes to catch. Those are zippers, and in the late afternoon light, not easy.
Raiders, Merlin, probably play man-to-man defense more than any team in the league. Bud Grant, the coach of the Vikings, said he's not a proponent of that. Says one good thing about the man-to-man, if there's a mistake, you know who to blame.
Now, they're going to be even tougher here in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that after this play.
3rd and 10 from the shotgun. Elway sets. He's going to run. He's got to run now. He's over the line of scrimmage, and he bails out with the 12th man saving him. As all smart quarterbacks do. One that didn't was a guy you played against many times, Joe Kapp. But Grant asked him one day, he says, how come you never run out of bounds? You always want to take on a linebacker. He says, running out of bounds is for gringos.
Well, you mentioned one of the all-time crazy quarterbacks, but one of the toughest too, Kapp. I don't blame Elway for going out of bounds. He's not going to win the game with that one situation. He didn't have anyone open downfield anyway. But it has been a frustrating afternoon for that young man.
Everybody on both of these teams is well aware that 2 starting quarterbacks went out last week with injuries. Prestridge to punt the ball. He kicked it. The wrong part of that one. It's going to go out of bounds at about the 35-yard line.
One of the most dependable parts of this Bronco team has been their special teams. And in the last 2 weeks, special teams have let them down. Prestridge running in a crucial situation last week, did not get a punt off, put his team in bad position, score followed. And right here in a situation where he would dearly have loved to put them down deep, he squibs it off the side of his foot, 14 yards. Well, that's an ugly punt.
Ugly as an unplayable lie. Upset at Foxborough. Patriots beat the Dolphins 17-6. Miami 7-4. New England now 6-5. Upset at New York. Buffalo gains a share of the AFC Eastern lead, beating the Jets in a come-from-behind win. Green Bay upset the Vikings at Minneapolis today. Kansas City, and that was an upset. Cincinnati went in favored, beating the Cincinnati Bengals. KC over them. Bears haven't won many. They won one today at Soldier Field over the Philadelphia Eagles. The pitch back. Marcus Allen running, looking for room, and he finds number 66 there, Bryson Manor, to make the stop. Both these teams, the Broncos and the Raiders, were aided today by the development of St. Louis, where the Cardinals upset Seattle 33-28.
Tom Jackson certainly providing some inspiration early in the game. They'd like him to make another one of those inspirational plays here, coming all the way across on the backside, gets a handful of black jersey. They'd like to strip the football away. They're thinking turnover right now on the Denver Bronco defense.
They forced 2 big ones. One led to the first touchdown of the game. The other stopped a Raider drive not that long ago. Plunkett pump faking, home run ball. A man is out there, and Louis Wright, look at this play by Wright, who lost his man, recovered, and then very nearly intercepted. Malcolm Barnwell running the fly. Looked like he was going to catch the ball. Wright came back, tipped it up in the air, and very nearly intercepted.
Great concentration by both the receiver and the defender. Malcolm Barnwell sensing the underthrow of the ball. Louis Wright right on top of him. The ball batted high. You'll see it here. Wright getting a shot to bat it, and the ball hangs up there. Louis just fighting for a position, and you see the frustration. Had a feeling he might get a shot at it there, but it drops out of his hands. Plunkett's numbers not terribly impressive, but very solid. 18 for 30, 156 yards on the day.
Both Raider turnovers on fumbles. Plunkett's not been intercepted. Now he swings it out to Frank Hawkins, who heard Jackson coming. And that's worth hearing because Jackson is a sticker. 3 times in the Pro Bowl. Jackson made a play today that led to the first touchdown when he sacked Plunkett from the blind side, and the fumbled ball in the end zone was recovered by Chavis for a touchdown for Denver.
We've talked a lot about the linebackers for the Denver Broncos today. That Merle Moore, linebacker coach for these Broncos, put together a great linebacking unit up there in Denver, and then went out to coach for the Raiders. Now has gone back to Denver and has managed to put some youth into a linebacking core there that again is really taking charge on the field.
Zach Thomas, who ran back a punt for a touchdown in the first Raider Bronco game, coming up to fair catch this one. He loses the ball. Raiders have it. 28-yard line. The Broncos still have it. 2 Raiders were on it.
Well, I'll be darned. It looked like that ball is controlled on the sideline, but the referees are indicating a Bronco football, and almost shades of last week on a short punt. Zach Thomas dropped one last week, took his eyes off of it. The ball was turned over and turned into a touchdown. 2 of the Raiders fighting for the ball, and look at that. He just slipped in and stole the football. Zach Thomas got over there and made amends for that mistake. Got over there and snipped that football out. Gives it back to the offense.
Merlin Zach better take a page from Greg Pruitt. Fumbled his in the pregame.
Well, I'll tell you, that is frightening. And
Here's some more. There's the big final. It affects the AFC West. The Cardinals, who haven't won many, upset the Seattle Seahawks. Cleveland blanking Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 1-10, and so are the Houston Oilers. They won today. Beat the Lions. 1st and 10 to the run. Winder looks for room, and finally they break a play. The first successful run play for over 10 yards of the day for the Denver Broncos. A gain of 13 yards on the play, 16 yards all the way out to the 43-yard line.
Dan Reeves says it's about time we got a run. Here it is right here. Winder taking a little inside handoff. Raiders, I think, anticipating pass, have been able to shut off most of the running plays. Mike Davis, number 36, comes up and puts a stick on Winder, but Winder's finally got them a first down rushing the ball, and I believe that's a first for the day.
It's interesting to see him carry it in the left hand, too. The right hand is taped. We saw earlier when he ran that way, the ball was knocked free, and the Raiders recovered. Now on 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line, Elway takes a look and hands off again. There's a loss of 4 yards on the play. That time Sammy Winder never got started. Trying to turn upfield, he slipped and fell, and Long was right on him.
There are a couple of pockets of loose turf out there because of areas in which the water was on the field. He hit one.
Monty Clark and the Lion fans aren't very happy about that. The loss at Houston. The Steelers, with the best record in the American Conference, they're now 9-2.
Well, looking at the score, wow.
Chargers continue to lead Dallas, and San Francisco dominating New Orleans at Candlestick Park up the coast. It's now 2nd down at 13 for Denver. Elway looks. Look at that throw. Too much on it, though. A little bit behind Rick Upchurch. Earl Campbell, who'd asked to be traded publicly twice during the past week, had 105 yards rushing today for the Oilers in their first win in the last 18 games as they beat the Lions at the Astrodome.
Well, we set the ball game. Talked first about the injuries to the two quarterbacks, the two replacements we'd see on the field today, and certainly passing out the report cards at this point in the game. Elway's not going to get much more than, well, he's hoping to get a passing grade, and if he doesn't do some better passing, he's not going to get one.
But the Broncos are down by just 3 points with 2 minutes and a second to play in the third quarter. They're down at 13. Elway is sacked by Bill Pickell, the rookie from Rutgers, who's as fast as a linebacker. Big defensive end who knocked Elway out of the game in the first meeting at Denver.
Well, I got to believe a little deja vu there as Pickell sweeps in from the right-hand side. Elway nervous, actually backing up before the snap on that play. Number 71, Pickell, just blowing in from the outside. A little stunt over there. Greg Townsend holding people down, and Pickell firing Elway right into the turf on that play. Prestridge gets another chance to punt. Let's hope he's put that last punt out of his mind. Get this one off. Boy, that's nowhere near his average for the season. He's had a rather miserable day.
Like the receivers looking into their hands, the punter has to look it right into his foot. This time Prestridge unloads, drives Pruitt back to his 34-yard line. Pruitt's run out of bounds across the 40 at the 42 with 1:19 to go in the third quarter, and the Raiders in the lead 13-10. Los Angeles goes back on offense, a 42-yard punt by Prestridge, an 8-yard return. Coming up next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern time, it's college basketball returning to NBC Sports with a Hall of Fame tip-off classic from Springfield, Massachusetts. The Houston Cougars will battle the defending national champions North Carolina State at a rematch of last season's NCAA championship game. Then NBC Sports World follows with a scheduled 10-round middleweight bout between 7th-ranked James the Heat Kinchin and 9th-ranked Murray Sutherland, live from St. Joseph, Missouri, plus the Mr. Olympia bodybuilder. Merlin Olsen, this is Don Trick at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Third quarter, late in the 3-point victory. Marcus Allen, who carried the only touchdown of the game for Los Angeles, runs the ball on first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line, where Rulon Jones knocks him down after a gain of 5.
Raiders offensive lineman one-on-one, just driving people off of the ball. Rulon Jones falling off the block, doing a good job of making the tackle on that play. But because the offense had pushed them off the ball, able to pick up 5 yards on the play.
2nd down and 5 coming up for Plunkett and the Raider offense. 46 seconds to go in the third quarter, clock running. Broncos Bronco defensive line over shifts. Plunkett comes back the other way and hits Malcolm Barnwell for a first down. Plunkett's seen everything he can throw at him, every look there is. He went right back to the weak side.
They have not been able to hurt Mike Harden deep, but they have been able to hurt him short. He's been playing off the ball. They've hurt him with Branch, and now they come right back and hurt him with Barnwell. Make the move like they're going upfield and break it off short. Been very effective for the Raider offense today and costly for the Bronco defense.
Opposing quarterbacks today with the rare distinction of having been the #1 players picked the years that they came out of Stanford. Plunkett in 71 and John Elway in 83. The pitch back goes to Marcus Allen. Here's his 6th throw of the season. He's thrown 2 for touchdowns, and here's almost a third. Left branch was open, and the ball was right there. Marcus Allen, who was an all-Southern California quarterback, is a high school player in San Diego, doesn't throw often. When he does, he's usually right there, and he was then.
He's making like a quarterback, and he's going to pay the price. Don Latimer, 72. Watch this. Whack! Oh, that hurts from up here. But a perfect strike. Marcus, a high school quarterback, had that one right in Branch's hands, and Steve Wilson had no chance. If he can pull that one in, it's 6 points.
Well, and over the years, you had to especially admire the courage of certain quarterbacks that stand in like that, like Marcus just did, throwing it. Right now, Frank Hawkins runs the ball on 2nd down and 10, gets it inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. It's amazing how someone, every nerve in their body is screaming, get rid of it, will stand there and take the hit.
Well, that's the way you test the quarterbacks. You test their courage, Don, and you come to respect those that just simply don't care. They'll stand in there, wait till the last second, and they'll throw the ball knowing that they're going to get smashed.
Who are some of the most courageous?
Unitas among them, Bart Starr, Namath. You know, you go down quite a list of people that, and some who would duck away.
Like me, if I was in there. We'll be back to the Los Angeles Coliseum right after these messages from your local station. To start the 4th quarter, it looks, Merlin, like Dennis Smith, one of the best players in the Bronco defense, won't be back today. His right knee iced down. We're told it's a strained knee.
Roger Jackson in his place, and certainly losing one of your best players, you've got to hurt even further. Good play.
Raiders go to the run. Marcus Allen carries the ball on 3rd down and 3, and it looks like he's short. He is of the first down.
You see the shadows lengthening across the field, the sun dropping low. It's going to be a factor here, especially as you go from right to left across the field. They're saying go for it. Bryson Manor made a great play on that last one. Dove in and got a piece of the ball carrier. And there goes the short yardage defense, or short yardage offense for Tom Flores' Los Angeles Raiders. He's responding to the crowd, and you can't blame him. When you've gone 5 for 5 in 4th down attempts, they've been pretty successful.
Big play now as we open the 4th quarter. Second play of this final quarter, the Raiders leading 13 to 10 and 4th and a yard. Second back through is Marcus Allen. He is through for 20. Down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Needed a yard, he got 7. Roger Jackson knocked him down.
Physical fatigue beginning to take a factor. The size of the Oakland offensive line, straight ahead blocking. You saw what they were doing to the defense there. That advantage begins to show even further. Allen accelerating well. It's the linebackers in the secondary who are having to make the bulk of the tackles now, and that's not good news for the Denver defense.
Oakland's powerful offensive front pushing back the Broncos now again to the run. This time carrying the ball is Frank Hawkins, who threw a key block on that first down run the play before for Marcus Allen. Hawkins emerging as one of the conference's better blockers. He said to block, it's 20% technique and 80% heart.
Look at these numbers. Rushing yardage for the Broncos, 26 on the day. The Raiders have not rung up impressive stats, but certainly have been able to control the football and have been able to have attempts to score anyway. They're getting that many shots on your goal. Eventually, they're going to get some in there.
This is the area of the field, though, where the Denver Broncos have stood tall so many times previously in this game. The Raiders challenge. They stopped, and we'll see if they can now on 2nd and 4 from the 23. Plunkett has a problem, gets it away, and overthrows his man.
Malcolm Barnwell, very nearly a sack. They got to Plunkett for 4 sacks in the first half. He's been releasing it quicker here in the second half.
Jackson coming again on a blitz from the outside. He's in very quickly. Gets a blocker this time, but actually ducks inside the blocker. And even though he doesn't get Plunkett, Randy Gradishar able to get out. Tell Plunkett, you better hurry, get that one off, my friend. Malcolm Barnwell saying, hey, Jim, I'm a little tall, but I'm not tall enough to go up there and get that one.
So it goes as an incomplete pass and brings up 3rd down and 5. Branch and Barnwell wide either side. The run. Ooh, good one. Pruitt carries the ball from scrimmage and gets it ahead for a Raider first down. He's to the 12-yard line.
It takes a special kind of back to run that draw play, and there are some backs who are very effective. Greg Pruitt is one of those backs. Kind of hides back there and waits and doesn't try to hurry the play. Lets him come back and hand him the football, then picks the spot and accelerates. And when you're rushing the passer as a defensive lineman, very difficult to make a stop on a play like that. First down for the Raiders.
It won't be 70 degrees and sunny next Sunday when the Raiders go to Buffalo to play the Bills, who are now tied for the AFC Eastern lead. First game of the NBC doubleheader in many parts of the country. Right now the Raiders looking to lock this one if they can. A throw to the end zone, incomplete to Todd Christensen. Very nearly 6.
You think you draw a crowd down there when you waltz into the end zone? Let's watch Todd Christensen, number 46. Starts at about the 19-yard line, breaks it outside, and wants to find an opening down the middle. Mike Harden, 31, immediately on top of him. Roger Jackson, 28. Gradishar coming over. Good coverage by the Bronco defense.
So now 2nd down and 10 comes up for Plunkett and the Raiders. 18-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Raiders leading by 3 in the 4th quarter. Hawkins runs. He has plenty. He might take it the distance. He does. Touchdown, Los Angeles. Now, Merlin, we know it's going to be bombs away when Elway and the Broncos get the ball back.
They really don't have any choice now. They didn't anyway. They weren't able to run the football. But when you keep hammering long enough and hard enough, and you have the speed to get outside, Hawkins following a fine block out there by Marcus Allen, and it was a missed tackle by Steve Wilson, number 45, that allowed Hawkins to make that move, get away, and plant himself firmly in the end zone.
Excellent block also by number 73, the left guard, Charlie Hanna.
Oh!
And snap.
David Hum, number 11, who just recently picked up, taken out of retirement, allowed to come in and start relearning the Raiders offensive system and installed as a holder. He's one of the best over the years. Good hands on that one.
It's a 19-10 lead for the LA Raiders, and we'll be back with their kickoff in a moment.
Runner, and he runs right out of the grasp of number 45, Steve Wilson there, finds his way into the end zone in spite of a last-ditch effort by Tom Jackson.
Today's game is brought to you by Dodge Cars and Ram Tough Dodge Trucks. Dodge, an American revolution. By Alcoa Aluminum Company of America, world leader in aluminum technology. And by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. With Merlin Olsen, this is Don Criqui at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Clear and sunny, a 2-game swing in the AFC West on the line with the outcome of this game. If the Raiders hold on and win it, they'll have command of the division by 2 games over Denver and Seattle with just 5 to play. The Broncos can gain a share of first place, though. If they can come back and win this, they need a touchdown, extra point, and a field goal to do that. They trail 19-10, but there's a lot of time remaining. 11:35 to play in the 4th quarter. Zach Thomas returned the kick, and Elway and the Bronco offense comes out to go throwing.
There are really 3 battles taking place on the field in any game. The battle between the offenses and defenses of both teams and the special teams of both teams. And the Raiders special teams have taken a definite advantage in this ball game, especially in the second half.
They really come alive in the second half. Denver's pinned in their own end. 1st and 10 for Elway. Ron Egloff goes in motion. Screen, and well done. There's going to be room here to run. Straight ahead is Winder, and he's across the 25-yard line. For a gain of about 8 or 9 yards on the play, Rod Martin made the knockdown for Los Angeles.
When you're pinned down and you're hurt, you got to make things work. You go to the grab bag, you come up with some tricks, and sometimes they work. That one did. Very effective middle screen.
A real run for it in the AFC East. Miami and Buffalo share the lead after the Dolphins were beaten today. The Bills won, and New England a victor, and Baltimore a loser. So the Colts and New England 6-5, just a game behind. Favorite Jets are nowhere. They were favored at the outset of the season. Second down and a yard. It didn't look like Broncos even got to the line of scrimmage. Howie Long came up to make the hit on Sammy Winder.
The trainers come out on the field as apparently one of the Broncos is down and hurt. Nathan Poole limping back to the huddle. He's not the man that was injured. 64, Billy Bryant, the center. So we'll see Mark Cooper maybe on at that center spot.
Bill Bryan, the best offensive lineman on the Denver team.
Keith Bishop, number 54, going to go to center.
Keith Bishop goes in. There's the Central Division. The Steelers with a lot of defense rolling in the AFC Central. Cleveland a winner today is second. Here's we talked about the 2-game swing on the outcome of this game. The Raiders will have a command by 2 games in their division with 5 to play if they win, and they're leading now 19-10. Tom Flores has been part of the Raider operation for a long time. Has been head coach for 5 years, but has been an assistant since '72 and played with the team prior to that. 3rd and 2.
First down.
Looks like he got it. Winder on the 3rd and 2 carry, slanting to the right. Nelson knocked him down, but the Broncos get a very important first down.
Running in behind the middle of that line with the injury to Bryant. They've now got Keith Bishop in at the center, Tom Glassick in at one guard, Paul Howard at the other, and it's Glassick pulling over on the short trap, making room for that play up to the inside. Big first down. And this is Glassick's last season, too. He's announced his retirement, that he's not going to play again next year. I think he's one of the most colorful players in the NFL. Certainly one of the most interesting.
Turn to his toy soldier collection. He's got a Hall of Fame collection. An expert in that, but right now it's Elway gunning the ball for a strike and a first down to the 40. John Elway again pumps and delivers the fastball right down the pipe. Matt Millen and Bob Nelson converge on Ron Egloff, but it's a Raider first down. Bronco first down.
Staring right down the pipe. Elway back again, locked in on a single receiver, something he's going to have to learn not to do. In this particular case, able to throw between the 2 linebackers and able to make the connection, but that's costly. Linebackers, defensive backs, watch a quarterback's eyes. He's got to be moving around, looking at other receivers. Can't just watch one all the way.
That time it worked. 10-yard gain. 9:05 to play in the game. Elway with a problem, gets it away, and it's incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. Best assessment, I think, Merlin, of how good Elway is projected to be was by Gil Brandt, head of scouting for the Cowboys, who said, we had Danny White, Joe Montana, and Dan Fouts, and had the #1 pick, we'd still take him. Dan Reeves got him.
Reeves has got him, but Reeves would like to have Elway producing like Dan Marino is down in Miami. The young man has not been able to do that yet.
Not yet. There's a throw, a strike in an open field for Ron Egloff. He's inside the 40, inside the 30, and down to the 28-yard line.
You think he was listening to us?
I tell you, Marino is certainly self-assured. Somebody said to him during the week that he's a lot like Joe Namath. He said, the one big difference, I'm better looking than Namath.
Well, this pass is better looking than just about any that young John Elway has thrown today. Good strike. Good job of getting open by Egloff on that particular play. Beats Mike Davis one-on-one. Ted Watts over to get a piece of him. McElroy over there to finally dump him on the ground. But that's a big first down. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
Egloff's second reception coming in this drive. Good for a total of 43 yards and first downs. From the 28, Elway takes a look. Timing pattern, another fastball. Right over the middle, and a slant pattern up. Church can't hold on, and the Raider coverage was excellent, led by 37 Lester Hayes.
Raiders style of defense, intimidation. They hammer on you out there. And They made an acquisition this week that's going to make this defense even tougher. Mike Haynes traded from the New England Patriots. Look at the fire on this ball.
Even
Boy,
in slow motion.
That is slow motion. Lester Hayes right there doing a good job of reacting. Talked to Mike Haynes yesterday. He is just thrilled to be coming in to play for this Raider team, and boy will he fit in. That's a normal speed on that pass.
Yeah, that's
95-mile-an-hour fastball there. Put a hole outside.
Second and 10. The play is whistled dead as penalty markers go down at the line of scrimmage with 8 minutes and 4 seconds left to play. Raiders trailed in the first quarter 10-0. They now lead 19-10.
When things go sour.
Illegal snap on the center.
When things go sour down there, it just doesn't work, and it just disorganized on that last play as the ball was snapped to the wrong time. Several of the players already up, and looked like it was a first sound snap. Center was not up with it on time, and the ball will be marked off 5 yards. Second.
Third start, number 54 of the offense, still second down.
Keith Bishop, who's come in to play for Bill Bryan at center, he was shaken up. Called for the false start.
Well, you don't need that. Certainly the man who must start everything, must call those blocking combinations, is the offensive center. And the one man that you don't like to see disappear on that offensive line is your center. Now you've got a new quarterback and a new center in there.
We see a lot of defensive linemen shift just before the snap. The Raiders seem to do it less than most teams. They're pretty much come right at you a certain way.
They line up and say, come and get us.
Right now on second and 15, Elway takes the deep drop. He looks, he throws, he has a man, Watson, open for a moment, and a penalty marker down.
Penalty on the far side of the field. Elway now 9 for 25, 149 yards, 1 interception on the day. This Raider defense, an intimidating kind of defense. They just come after you, come after you, come after you. They hammer on you physically. And they make it difficult out there, especially if they can get up on you. If they know that they've got the edge. They bring a lot of people. They're rotating a lot of people into that line. I talked to Earl Leggett, their defensive line coach.
Number 76 of the offense was holding. It's still second down.
Ed Moransky. No, not Ed Moransky. That's the other side. Ken Lanier. You're looking at one of the real wild men. People up in Denver remember that man. Played a lot of football for the Broncos. Went on to the Browns. And he's come back here and done an exciting job for these Los Angeles Raiders.
Tough-looking man. He could stare a dog down off a meat wagon, somebody said of Lyle Alzado.
He scared me.
Elway with the problem. Gets away from it. He looks. Some of his players quit on the play. It's a first down throw. One of his players was open in the end zone, Upchurch, and thought he was sacked. Stopped running. But Elway finds a way, and so on second down and about 25 yards, he throws for 32 and a first down.
I believe that's Steve Watson's first reception on the day, but what a big time. Now is that Sampson catching that football down there? That's Sampson catching the football down there, but Elway doing a magnificent job of escaping this pressure. That's Townsend, 93, Alzado, 77, a body lock there. Gets to the outside and gets that ball off. Watch the catch down deep here. 84, Sampson, Clint Sampson, and that's Watson right there with him. But it's Sampson pulling that ball down, first and 10.
So the Broncos down close for the first time in a long, long time. Here is a throw. It's incomplete, but there's a penalty marker. Watson was interfered with. It'll be first and goal for the Broncos inside the 5-yard line. Ed Watts called for the foul, and John Elway looking at the end zone from pretty close to point-blank range.
And we got another flag down. I believe Watts may have said something to the officials that drew an additional penalty.
20 on the defense. First down.
Maybe not. A chance there, though. You get the feeling. Steve Watson, well, you notice how upset Watts was. Steve Watson using his body to shield himself from that defender so effectively, and that really caused the problem. Watts had nowhere to go. Came in over the top, caused himself the penalty.
And in the fourth quarter, when the Broncos needed it most, Elway has started to throw strikes. Now it's first and goal from the 4-yard line. Raiders lead 19-10. Elway throws. throws. Watson had the ball and lost it. Very close to a reception. Lester Hayes split it up, though. A big play by the all-pro corner. He had it just long enough to have possession. Even if he knocked it away, it would have been a touchdown. But the official right there ruled he did not have it long enough.
3 people doing a spectacular job. It was a great throw by Elway, who's under pressure here. Has to bring it down and throw it the second time. Gets the ball up. Watson had to go high in the air to get the football. Now watch him as he's coming down. Hayes is coming up and knocks the football away. If his feet touch the ground, that's a touchdown. But just as his feet are coming down, he's got to get both feet on the ground. Hayes knocked that football away. Brilliant play.
Really was, as you said, Merlin, an excellent play by 3 players. Now the Broncos will try again. 2nd and goal from the 4. Timing pattern. Oh, man was open, but Elway was short, and he knows it as he pounds a fist into the turf. Upchurch turning out.
Upchurch is angry. I don't blame him. He got himself open. He said, hey, it's tough enough to shake these black jerseys. Get me the football when I get open like that. Hell, and no one will be harder on himself than young John Elway. Elway will be angry that he did not get that football to the open receiver, and a lot of pressure right now on the offense. Here it is. Elway throwing, and he's under pressure again. But that ball to a wide open receiver has got to be out there so he can catch it. Upchurch says, hey, come on, get it out here to me.
And Upchurch also, I think, lost some footing cutting back the field wet, particularly in the perimeter area after 2 days of rain.
I think cutting hard to try and get back to that football, though.
Now it's 3rd and goal. Elway swings it out. Wilhite loses the ball. Wilhite does well to come up with it. If it was ruled a lateral, it was a free football. And
I believe they're going to call it I believe that they are going to call that an incomplete pass and not a lateral as they mark it back to the line of scrimmage. But it doesn't do any good. It's still going to be 4th down. Reeves can't believe it.
I think he's a little upset with Wilhite.
Elway looking across, waiting for Wilhite, threw it behind him. Wilhite had to turn completely around to try and catch that ball, and that's the one thing you can't afford to do when you got that back going out to the outside. The ball's got to be in front of it. Elway now 6 for 15, 117 yards in the second half. Of course, that interception also coming in the second half. First half, he was only 4 for 12.
Carlos can bring the Broncos to within 6. High snap, but the set down and hold are very good. Luke Prestridge doing his job well, and Carlos responding with the field goal. And now it is a 19-13 game, and we still have 6:35 left to play, so looks like we're going down to the wire.
More effectively, but they've still got to get back and do it. Reeves talking to Elway on the sideline, I'm sure asking him what happened on that pass that went behind Wilhite, and certainly concerned about not getting the 7. Of course, you've got to have the 3-2 to get you back in the ball game, but they would love to have had the 7 points there and had the option of going for the field goal on the next time down.
But Elway has demonstrated he can open up the Raider defense. At least he has done so here in the 4th quarter. A good kickoff by Carlos. Doki Williams, 5 yards deep in the end zone, will not bring it out. So the Raiders will go on offense, holding to a 6-point lead with 6:30 to play. 1st and 10 for Jim Plunkett and the Raiders at the Los Angeles 20.
And again, Plunkett's numbers certainly not overwhelming in this day of passing football, but more than adequate to get his team on top today. And of course, the one costly mistake he made was the fumble early in the ball game. Ball knocked loose for a touchdown, but he has come back to play very sound football. Now the thing you've got to do defensively, the Broncos thinking to themselves, don't give anything big, but let's take that football away. 6:30, plenty of time.
Jim Plunkett wants to move downfield in a hurry. He throws and hits his tight end for a 1st down. Now Christensen over the middle, and Plunkett with a perfect throw to him, and the ball is out to the 33-yard line.
Confidence is such an asset. The Raiders have that kind of confidence in Todd Christensen and their short passing game. They're not afraid to throw the ball under a critical situation like that. And Christensen, after being shut out early, has come back for 4 catches and big yardage, and certainly some of them very key to Raider success.
They have been, and he's just worked harder to get free. He's got to fight off. For a long time, he had to fight off Louis Wright, then a linebacker. And he's been open for a moment, and Plunkett's delivered there, and now he does it again. Another 1st down, a quick out going over to Cliff Branch.
These These are high percentage passes, the kind of passes that are not going to be intercepted. I mean, if your man doesn't get that, when a Branch doesn't get that pass, that ball's out of bounds. So they're playing smart football here. They want to eat the clock, drive down the field, love to get some more points on the board, and force the Broncos to go for even bigger points on their side of it.
The precision of a veteran quarterback and offensive team. 2 quick throws, 2 quick first downs, and both times they keep it inbounds and keep the all-important clock running. 5:15 to play in the game. Raiders 19, Broncos 13. Marcus Allen, nothing in the middle, so he takes it to the outside, and he is ahead for very close to first down yardage. So the Raiders, when they need it badly to keep their lead protected, respond with 3 consecutive first down plays. If this one is good for 10, if it's not, it'll be short by inches.
There's a fine line aggressively on the defensive side between going after the football and putting yourself at risk. And when you start trying to tackle a football, when you start trying to make the big play, there's always the danger that the offense will break the big one on you and get away. Right now, it's important that the Broncos play steady defense, that they take the football back, but there's still a lot of time left in this game. That's going to be a first down, as Allen was able to get enough on that particular run. Good job by Marcus Allen.
Has over 130 yards for the day as Elway waits to get back in and get another chance. Marcus Allen with 83 yards rushing and 49 more on 6 receptions.
Broncos have played a 4-man defensive line virtually throughout this game, and I believe the reason more than anything is because of injuries to the linebackers. They've done a fairly good job, but again, they're just being pounded and pounded and pounded, gradually wearing down under that big offensive line of the Raiders.
Raiders closed with a big win in the final minutes at Kansas City last week. Now they look to protect this 6-point lead. Hawkins runs the ball not very far, and a first down carry, got to the 43. Jim Ryan, one of the linebackers, knocked him down, and the clock continues to wind down. 4:15 to play.
Ryan's done a good job of staying in that lineup. An injured ankle kept him out of last week's ball game. He's come back well. Sam Bogosian there, offensive line coach, talking to Tom Flores. What a fine job Flores has done. I don't think he ever gets enough credit. Certainly deserves a great deal of credit for the way he handles the Los Angeles Raider organization.
Dan Reeves, you can see the tension in his face as he looks for his defense to get the ball back. Here comes Jackson. He strips the ball. It looks like the Denver Broncos have it. They do. Jackson again. They had to give this guy a game ball. It's gold-plated.
The 5th sack of the day by the Denver defense. And, of course, at the crucial time, you've got big play people that got to perform for you. Jackson coming from the left side. That's Hawkins. He gets by here. But it's just reaching out with that left hand. And Plunkett, who does not grip that ball tightly, has it swept out of his hand. Right here, the Broncos recover. They now can put Elway back in the game and set their sights on the goal line. I'd just like to caddy for that group. Get out, watch Nick Claus. I'd even be willing to carry 4 bags to be there for that Skins game.
You could carry them.
Well, that's going to be a great match.
We get a few more good football players, now we can get our own team. We got Merlin Olsen, his brother Phil Olsen, and Bobby Chandler, a longtime Buffalo Bill and LA Raider in their championship year, the last one. Looking out as Elway throws and hits his man Nathan Poole. He's ahead for about 10 yards. He's down to the 32-yard line and gets out of bounds with 3:34 left to play.
Elway doing a good job on that play.
He is.
He looked deep, watched the receivers, did not have the kind of opening he wanted. Flashed left, picked up Nathan Poole in the side and hammered the ball to him. Poole getting down very close to a first down. And the thing you don't want to do here is get greedy. You don't want to get greedy. 2 reasons for it. First, your percentage passes are all lower passes. And second, an awful lot of time on that clock. You'd like to use some of it in that drive.
3:34 left to go. The Broncos trail 19-13. Nathan Poole runs hard and he works hard and gets a first down. Nathan Poole is down close to the 30-yard line, so it's going to be a first down for Denver. He stayed in bounds, and with 3:19 in the clock running, the Broncos huddle somewhat at their leisure. I think they're of your thinking, Merlin. They don't want to try to get it all at once and give the Raiders time to get back. First, they've got to get some.
Well, Nathan Poole only 9 yards on the day, but those were 2 of the most important that he'll get during this entire day. And now the Raider defense, their thought down there very simple. They've got to play conservative enough not to allow the deep shot, but they've got to push hard enough not to allow the drive to continue. 1st and 10 for Elway and the Bronco offense.
Just outside the Raider 30. And a throw. Here comes the rush. He eludes it for the moment. Now he has a problem. He can go, though. You talked about his 4.7 speed, and John Elway might take it in. He's down to the 6-yard line. Ken Watt got him, but now the Broncos have the ball. 1st and goal at the 6-yard line with 2:28 to play. A 24-yard run by John Elway.
Elway standing in tough. Will feel the pressure from the outside. Howie Long ducks under Howie Long. Now look at how many Raiders he has in pursuit. Just a matter of speed. Outruns Millen right there. Breaks into the open. He's pointing out his blocks. I believe that's Upchurch down there. And it's Ted Watts who slips off Upchurch's block and makes the stop. But great position here. We got a timeout called, I believe. I don't know who they called it for, but
2-minute
warning. Okay.
And now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes with the Broncos challenging to go ahead. The Raiders had the ball. Now after the 24-yard run by Elway, the Broncos challenging 1st and goal. Elway again outruns the pursuit. Throws, it's incomplete. Watson was close. It came in a little low. That's not a bad idea to throw it low, Merlin, because these guys can intercept anything up.
You got to put it away. You can't give the ball away down there. This is probably your last shot at it. Dan Reeves talking to Will Height on the sideline. Will send in the play with his offensive back. New play coming in. Jack Squirek coming in. Ted Hendricks off the field. Hendricks was the man who was responsible for containment on that last play and just did not have enough speed. As we said, playing with some injuries, not able to control Elway to the outside. But Elway's pass just slightly low. Watson went down to try and dig it out. Couldn't get it. Second about 7 yards to go. Let's see what they got in mind.
Tension really mounting now as the game clock down to 1:53 to play. 2nd and goal for the Broncos from the 6. They go to the run. Will Height turns the corner. He's inside the 5, but he's not there, and the clock runs down to 1:45 and ticking.
Gerald Will Height, you see him limping as he comes back in there, operating on a bad wheel. Here comes another injured player onto the field. Sammy Winder.
At this point, you send out what you got.
Yeah, you got to put him on the field. Both teams have all their timeouts at this point. That was Will Height's first carry of the day. Ran pretty well considering the problems he's had with his legs. 3rd down, 4 yards to go. I think you got to put this ball in the air.
That adrenaline will ease some pain, and it's pumping now. 3rd down and goal. Broncos. Nobody set in the backfield, and Elway gets set. Takes a look. Takes it up the middle. He's in. Touchdown, Denver. Strikes the ball. What a football game. You look at back. Broncos ever hold on to win this. Number 57, Tom Jackson, stands taller than all the Broncos who played so well today.
Well, and no matter what the numbers are, the basic rule in football is win the game. And if they can hang on now, John Elway, quarterback a record, and you saw that hug from Reeves. Not a design play, not a design run, but a perfect quarterback draw. Everyone rushing to the outside. Elway saw the opening and zip, put himself in the end zone.
Tremendous comeback, and now that missed extra point by the Raiders after their last score looming so large. Carlos can put the Broncos in the lead, and it's up. And it's good. And Denver, with 58 seconds to play, has a 20-19 lead.
Let's go back and take another quick look at that play. Again, Elway looking for the pass here. But notice how all of the defenders end up being pushed outside. Elway sees the room inside. Jack Squirek, 58, the man who's diving for him. Elway diving for the end zone, and he makes it.
But over the years, nobody's come back like the Raiders have, and they have 58 seconds to get in field goal range. John Elway, exuberant, well, he should be, after he ran up the middle for the touchdown that tied the game, and then the extra point by Carlos. And Denver has rallied from 9 points down late in the game to lead 20-19. The kickoff to Doki Williams. He's a flyer. They hem him in and down him at the 30. 17-yard return, and now, with 51 seconds left to go, Plunkett and the Raider offense comes out.
And in any ball game, it comes down to the final seconds, comes down to maybe 1 or 2 plays. This will go down as the most important offensive play of the day. A scramble. No one open. John Elway making the most of that opportunity. And is that young man happy? I think this ball may bounce 50 yards in the air. Wow!
A great second look from the ground level. Our producer today for NBC Sports, Kenneth Edmondson, our director, John Gonzalez. As the Raiders now with 1st and 10 at their 30, trailing by 1. Plunkett has time. He has a man. It's Christensen. He is across the 45 to the 47. And the clock runs down to 40 seconds and running.
Raiders have all 3 of their timeouts. They take one here, 40 seconds. Chris Barr on the sideline. It may come down to an opportunity for that young man to drop it over the goalpost, and of course with a 1-point lead, that's all they need.
The Raiders, though, they don't really like it till they're behind late in the game. They know all about coming back to win, and they could have a chance and very soon, and nobody knows that better than Dan Reeves.
He certainly does. Reeves, of course, Joe Collier, you see him there. He's the man who will call the defensive signals. And without that man right there, Roger Jackson, under a lot of pressure. We showed you earlier, Dennis Smith, starting safety, is out of the ball game. You're going with a young man in there who doesn't have that much experience. Your defense is tired. They've been on the field a good part of the day. But right now, it's down to this. You've got to shut down the Los Angeles Raiders. You've got to keep them from getting in field goal range. You've got to protect that 1-point lead for John Elway.
John Elway came into this game after being relegated to the bench, said, "I'm ready now," and he was. The first half wasn't too productive, but the second half was.
Look at that, rushing. Elway has run 4 times for 32 yards. The entire Bronco backfield has only run 29 yards in 22 attempts.
Plunkett against a big rush, gets it away. Christensen has the ball and gets away. It's a race to the end zone. Christensen inside the 30. It's going to come back on a clip. They would be in field goal range with 30 seconds left, but there is a call going to be called against the LA Raiders.
You talk about a flip of emotion. Christensen breaking away, and it appeared that he had an open field, at least for a good gain. Doki Williams coming in, trying to do a little bit extra, clipped on the backside. They're going to mark 15 yards back. They're going to end up virtually in the same place that they started to play.
The game clock showing 30 seconds to play. Red Cashin, the referee, steps off the yardage to the 49-yard line of Denver.
Very good use of the hands during the run. Number 85 with the offense. It's still first down.
Well, it's a 10-yard penalty instead of a 15-yard penalty, so they go back to where they actually make 3 yards on the play. But there's the push right there. Number 85, Williams, getting the shove in the middle of the back. And, of course, they mark it back.
One thing we're sure of, Merlin, there won't be any overtime. 20-19 the score, 30 seconds to play. Denver on defense has the lead. The Raiders. Jim Plunkett throwing. Again, he goes to Christensen, and again he comes up and comes down with the ball. Down to the 36-yard line. It's still long field goal range for Chris Barr with 23 seconds to play.
Wilbur Myers, number 29, all over the intended receiver. They're still able to go up and bring that football down. You see Todd Christensen applauding out there saying, hey, we're still in this thing. And, of course, that's what's on the line. The lead in the AFC West, owned now by the Raiders. These Denver Broncos would love to pull them back into a tie. Little clamp right there. They're trying to get in on Plunkett. What a great catch. Up and over the top.
Ross Schneiderman, our NBC statistician, with the numbers on Plunkett. 24 at 39 for 225 yards. Now they really come alive at the Coliseum in Los Angeles.
does 6 for 86 yards in the ball game, and the pressure again squarely on the shoulders of the Bronco defense, and they have responded with big plays all day long. Merle Moore there on the left, the linebacker coach. It's his linebackers that have made some of the biggest. They'd like to make another one here.
13 years in the NFL. Jim Plunkett has been here 100 times before. So as Jackson, who's after him again, here's a throw, a timing pattern, and it is caught out of bounds. Not a completion. Dokie Williams had it, but both feet came down on the white chalk.
A great adjustment to the football. Dokie Williams covered down the sideline, one-on-one. The ball thrown short. He jumps back. That's Roger Jackson. No, excuse me, Steve Wilson, 45, covering him. But you look at Dokie. He looks down, and he can see those 2 feet in the white stripe. No reception. 2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line.
Big down. They're all big at this point. 17 seconds left to play in the game. Denver 20. The Raiders 19. Plunkett dropping for Los Angeles. He has Christensen. He's in field goal range now as Christensen is down to the 23-yard line.
They stop him in bounds. They're going to have to call a timeout. It's going to come down to a final play, and it looks like it's going to be Chris Barr with everything hanging in the balance. Barr 2 for 3 on the day, has been good from 28 and 42 yards. Missed from 28 yards.
Something. The Denver Broncos came in here shaken up, but ready to play, and they played hard all day. Their defense kept them in it early, and then the Raiders, with that great power in the offensive line, mixed the run and the passing. Came from a 10-0 deficit to the Raiders to a 19-10 lead in the 4th quarter. But the Denver Broncos responding with 10 fourth-quarter points. The last 10 points scored in this game have taken a 1-point lead, 20-19. And now Chris Barr's on the field. It'll be a 40-yard attempt from virtually straight away. Upright, so Merlin get an awful lot narrow when the whole thing's on the line.
4 completed passes in that drive to Todd Christensen. And he set it up. He's allowed a missed chance. Let's see if they can capitalize.
David Hums had a problem holding. This time he doesn't. The ball's on the way. He spins it up and throw, and the Raiders are going to win the game. 4 seconds left. Chris Barr, when he had to deliver, did, and the Raiders down with 58 seconds to play, take a kickoff, drive down the field, despite a penalty, get in position, and then hit it when they had to and take a lead with just 4 seconds to play. It's not over, but really it is.
We talk about the emotional highs and lows of professional football, and here within seconds, you've seen both. On this last play, the ball in the air. We'll let the coaches tell you whether it's good or not.
Great shot.
What a tremendous game. And even though Dan Reeves is hanging his head over there, got to be terribly proud of the way his team played today. So many injuries, so many problems. They were able to overcome them. They played some great defense. They did make some costly mistakes during the day, but I got to believe Elway found a little maturity out there today.
A lot of maturity. While we have a moment, our thanks for the help in the booth to NBC statistician Ross Schneiderman, to Dennis Mnuchin, Tim Tallman, and Shep Goldberg. As now, with 4 seconds left to play, the LA Raiders find a way once again as they've done over the years.
I've got to believe that David Humm, with his first action in a ball game, just coming back to the roster, had to be a little shaky out there holding that ball for Chris Barr.
But when he did it. Remember, the last extra point was missed. Now they don't want him a chance to run it back, so they script it downfield unless the Broncos can bring it down. Get a 2 seconds left, 2 seconds to run on the clock, and now it's gone. Time is out. The Broncos leave in defeat, but it was a tremendous effort by the Denver team.
I believe they're going to wind some time back onto the clock. Anyone could call timeout. Receiver immediately after touching the football indicated timeout. I don't think this ball game is over yet.
1 second on the clock. Put 1 second on the clock.
Now for one play.
Now, what kind of play do you have in your arsenal that will allow you to go from your own 14-yard line all the way to the end. Let's look at the play. A smart play. Steve Wilson, 45, coming up. He's not the man that gets it, though. Zach Thomas, and instantly called a timeout. Enough to stop the clock, but virtually an impossible situation for the Broncos.
I think what they have to run here, Merlin, is that play that Cal beat Stanford on last year.
Well, where's the band? Can we get them to come onto the field?
Their 8 guys handled it. Elway, 11 for 30 in the game, or 190 yards. Was intercepted once, as you see. Now, one last throw for John Elway. The Raiders got guys playing 70
Lester
yards.
Hayes is about 50 yards back.
Man, that is a long ball downfield. It's tipped in the air, and the game ends. A great effort by the Broncos, a fabulous comeback by the Raiders, and the Los Angeles Raiders take a 2-game lead in the AFC West. With seconds to play, they go in front 22-20, and that's how it will end.
And the black and silver again showing their character, showing the kind of confidence they have. Elway met them, but he had his troubles, and it's a Raider game when we finish.
Another day at the office for Tom Flores. We'll be back following these messages. Really had the game locked up, had a rally in the final minute, driving down the field, and finally a field goal wins it. Now for Merlin Olsen, this is Don Cricky. Stay tuned for NFL 83 following these messages from your local stations.